guys, welcome back to It's Kind of a Big Deal. This is episode 14. I'm Jenna Horton.
And I'm Olivia Bondi.
Happy New Year.
You know what I wish we had? The little things that go.
We could maybe do a little stupid thing that you could add on to it.
Yeah.
Or like a
Wouldn't that be great?
confetti maybe?
Yeah, so just picture us going.
Yeah.
Jenna and I are going to do a classic New Year's podcast today.
Yeah.
Talking about all things goal setting, financing, all the good stuff.
Yeah, some mindset, some excitement for the new year, which is more my thing than Olivia's, if we're being honest. We sat down today and she was like, I don't do this bullshit.
She's like, what was your word last year? I'm like, I don't do this stupid stuff. But you know what? Maybe it's not stupid. And I always have been someone that sets goals.
Yes.
I'm also someone that always feels very rejuvenated and reset after the holidays.
Yeah.
This year I had the chance to take, I would say, the most time off that I've had in a lot of years over the holidays. And I think the way that Jen and I were talking about, the way that the holidays fell, I think even the 9-to-5ers felt like they got a lot of time off.
Yeah, we're both talking when our boyfriend's going, or fiance for you, going back to work. It feels like a little bit too much time at home.
Go ahead. So if you had some good R&R over the holidays, channel that energy into taking some time and setting some good goals and intentions for the next year.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but my Instagram, I don't TikTok, but my Instagram is full of vision board planning and couples coming together and doing some planning, whether that's for budgeting or just life in general for the new year. And I think it's so refreshing.
Yeah, and I think that's something too, whether you have a partner or you have a friend that's kind of your accountability partner in that. I have gone to the gym pretty consistently for the past number of years, probably 10 years.
Yeah.
But I feel to meet my fitness goals, I need something that's more a fitness program that I'm joining. So more of a group class. And I was trying to get Aaron to join with me because I feel if you're both getting up at 6 a.m. to go to your workout class, it's way easier than if one person's still in bed and you're getting up.
I think it keeps such a good connection within your relationship too. Setting these goals and achieving them together, whether it is a fitness goal or financial, I think that just brings you together.
Yes, because especially if you're working towards something finances wise and the other person is not aligned with you, it can actually have the opposite impact as well.
Right.
I said to Aaron, he's going to be jealous when I'm snatched for our wedding.
And rich.
And he's still doing the same thing.
Right. Yes. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's a good thing for you guys. It's exciting that you're getting married this year. And I think it's a good thing, another timeline, not just 2025 as a whole, but making that more of a wedding goal. Whenever the date is, because we don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly. And the wedding is a great push for that because sometimes it's easy to forget after, the first month of January and you have all your New Year's resolutioners. Yeah. And when you don't have something to work towards,
right?
A benchmark, it's a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I definitely want to look great in the wedding dress.
Yeah.
We went to try on wedding dresses.
Right.
And
okay, but set the stage. It was one of those things in a hotel where
Yeah. But wedding dresses fit you'd wear 2 sizes up or something. Anyways, right. Jenna, I was I love this dress. Let's try it. I showed Aaron a picture of my back. Jenna had taken a picture with my back cleavage. And this dress was so tight. Aaron thought it was my boobs. So weddings have a way of really knocking you on your ass and getting you motivated for the fitness.
Exactly. Yes. And then I want to look good for the pictures just beside you as well. So
yes, exactly.
That'd be good.
So find something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And whether that's just being a better version of yourself this year, it's okay to lean into all cliche New Year's things.
Yeah.
As long as you stay consistent with them and don't look as long as you don't set your goals and then never look at them after January 5th.
Exactly. Yeah. And maybe you, I know last year we did a mid-year check-in, so I think we'll plan something like that for June as well and follow up with everybody and see how we're doing on our goals. Like I said, fitness or financial, any type of goal you set for yourself, and just be realistic. And if you fall off the wagon, it doesn't mean that you can't get back on again.
Get back on the horse.
Giddy up.
I think it's good too to put your goals somewhere that you see them every day.
Yeah.
Put them on your fridge, put them on your bathroom mirror, put them on your desk as your phone screensaver, whatever it is, so that you're constantly reminded of where your intentions were and where you want to get to.
I like that. And so that kind of ties well into where I wanted to talk about a one word for 2025. And this is something I've been doing for years, probably since I got into real estate now. So that's something else that would be really nice on your lock screen would be your one word.
Yeah.
If it means enough to you and you choose something that aligns with all your goals, then you could put that on your lock screen. How many times a day do you pick up your phone? I'd be an embarrassing
A lot.
amount.
Their phone tells you, which is terrifying.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're seeing that many times a day, it's just present, it's in your face, and you're always being reminded of that.
Yeah, and so the point of picking one word is that it encompasses all that you want to kind of set out for that year.
Yes.
So I started last night. Jenna said that my one job was to pick one word that encompasses all of my goals and intentions for the year. So I started by actually making my list of goals.
Right.
And then finding a theme that was common in those, whether it's in business, in my finances, in fitness, in my relationship building, all of those things. And maybe my word's not going to tie too good in with relationship building, but it could.
It could. Yeah, it could.
It could, if you spin it in the right way. And then thinking of a word that comes to you, and it has to matter to you. Like I picked a word that we will share that I think is not necessarily a word that like would come to mind for a lot of people.
Right.
But what's important is it makes sense to me. And then I looked to try and find another word that encompasses that, and none of them really like sounded as true to me. So it doesn't matter what your word is as long as it resonates with you.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how other people are going to perceive your word. I think just choosing something, and yours very much suits your personality. And if you're having a hard time coming up with a word, like you can go to Instagram, Pinterest, ChatGPT, finding inspiration anywhere.
Yeah.
Talk to some people who you care about and care about you, and then maybe they can give you some inspiration too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your word?
Yeah, so look how you were kind of naming some things. Like when I looked at my pillars or my like values and the things that I wanted my word to align with, it was business, family, friends, hobbies and free time, travel. Like these were the things that were important to me. And my word for 2025 is invested. So I was kind of toying around with a few different words. Initially, I thought simplicity, because I really want to just like keep things simple. And we've discussed that in other podcasts.
Yep.
But that didn't really it wasn't zingy enough. Like it wasn't giving me enough energy. It's just too easy. And not that it is easy, because I think that you have to work at that too. But so I thought about the word maximize, and it just wasn't hitting quite right. So then I thought invest. But to me, invest is something you do. Whereas if I pivot and go to invested, that's something that you are. I am invested. So I want to make sure that I'm invested in the time that I spend in my business and bettering my business, invested in the time that I spend with my family, making sure that I am present. I'm there. I'm all in.
I think that invested is something also that you have to actively work at. Whereas invest is something that feels singular.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
Right? So you have to continuously, whether you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your family, you're investing in your business, whatever your goals are.
I have to be invested.
You have to be invested.
Yeah. What's your word for 2025?
My word is relentless, which I think can be viewed sometimes as a negative, mostly because people will say like, Olivia, you are relentless.
Right.
Or, being relentless in sales sometimes has like a negative stigma associated towards it. But to me, I see it as being relentless on working towards what I want in life and my goals.
Never giving up.
Never giving up in all pillars of life. My fitness, my business, my finances, my personal relationships. I want to be relentless in working towards my goals in those categories.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that aligns well with our podcast too. Like in our introduction, we talk about like learning from our mistakes and like we have failures and stuff. And when you're relentless, you aren't quitting. Like you're not letting those failures or mistakes stop you. It's just like, okay, I'm going to get back up and do something again and keep trying, keep going and persisting. Like you said about persistence before.
And just like pivoting.
Yeah.
So figuring out what works and what doesn't work.
Right. Which is such a great tool to have in life and in business. I think that is great.
Yeah. So that is my goal.
That's the word.
That's the word.
Although you may not believe in the one word, we're going to try it.
We're going to try it. Yeah. And it's like, I think I believe.
Okay. Oh, we've converted her.
We got one believer.
I love it. I love it. So we encourage you guys to pick one word. Think about your goals, your values, and what you want out of this year, and try to find a word that can really bring it all together. And then that can stay top of mind. And Something else I was doing, I did this back in December, but I thought it might be nice to share when we're talking about our finances and financial goals. And we talk about budgeting often, but I sat down again in December and reran my budget. And so I've made it super simple for myself, and I took what I pay myself every month and broke it down into the categories of what I'm spending on my household expenses, what I have for like personal wants, like kind of like cash. I'm going to try to do a cash for personal wants.
Nice. Like hard cash.
Cold hard cash instead of a credit card, because I can be bad for just tap, tap, tap. And then at the end of the month, I look at my budget and I'm like, oh, I messed up and I spent too much. So you often carry cash, and so I'll see what I do with that, how it goes.
The only thing with cash is
can't track it.
Yeah, it's harder to track. Like I carry cash because I have cash revenue streams within my businesses.
Yeah.
But to me, that's disposable money.
Right, like it doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Right.
I couldn't tell you how much cash I made this year.
Right.
Or how much cash I spent.
Don't tell the CRA.
If you're the CRA, keep scrolling. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, that's just money that flows in and then poof, goes.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess for myself, it's like, I need to be very clear on my wants, and my cash is only for a want. And then in that sense, if I'm only giving myself X amount of dollars in cash in my wallet, then when that's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, and it is harder to spend that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if some carries over for the next month, that's a bonus. And if not, but I'll see how it goes. I don't know. It's kind of an old school way of doing it, but I'm going to try it. And so then I broke it down too into like savings and set it up for my TFSA and whatnot. And I want to save a certain amount every month for traveling. And I put that in my calendar on the first of every month. And the same breakdown, just copy and pasted the message to continue for the whole year. And then that will be my reminder that like, okay, I pay myself and then this is where the money goes.
Well, and one thing I think is really important that we don't necessarily do, like we're telling our listeners to like start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So start investing, whether you're saving towards your retirement or your tax-free savings account or your first-time homebuyer savings account, start somewhere. But as our income rises, I think we often don't reflect on how much we're saving.
100%.
Right? Like because the difference is proportional. If you're making extra money, it doesn't matter how much money you're making if you're spending it all.
Absolutely.
So
we need to know where our money's going, and that's where budgeting.
Reflecting, I think this is a great time of year, whether it's now or the mid check-in, to touch base with your financial advisor and say, hey, you know, I made this much money last year, and so I want to decrease my investments, you know, by this much or increase them. And when that money just goes out of your account, we've said this tons of times, you don't even think about it.
Yep, exactly. So set it up, make it automatic.
Yeah. Or if you're at a point where like, okay, I was paying off a bunch of credit card debt, and in 2024 I met that goal and I paid off this credit card. If you got yourself used to making those payments, pivot that money and pay it towards a savings account for you.
Yeah, that's a great plan.
Right?
I think a lot of people do that when they have a car loan too. Like you pay off your car loan and you're used to having that high monthly payment every month.
Yep.
Well, then pivot that same idea and put it into a savings account.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
any of those
great.
things, like whether you don't have, because for me, like I don't have a mortgage on my personal home. So I'm like, I should be taking at least a mortgage payment every single month and just lumping that away into my... And if you play around, if you need motivation, play around with a compounding interest calculator, and you're going to be like, I need to do this, regardless of what you're setting your goals for. You know, if you're like, I want to retire when I'm 55, and I put this much money away, what's that going to grow to? It'll blow your mind, and that's going to get you all horned up and motivated to save some money.
Yes, we're going to do a whole episode on compounding interest calculators because it is one of my favorite things in the world. Yeah, I'm obsessed.
And it's a great tool to think like if you don't feel like you're doing enough.
Yes, it's nice. It's exciting to see.
It can also give you that, you know, little boost of confidence to say like, yeah, maybe, you know, $500 a month doesn't seem like a lot, but when you look at it in that scheme of things, it has a lot of potential to grow.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting with that is a compound was actually a word that I was considering as well for my one word for 2025. I didn't decide to go with it, obviously, but I like that because just like you're saying, if you're only doing a small amount of investing towards your financial goals, it's going to compound. The same idea with the gym. Like going to the gym every single day for 20 minutes might not feel like you're doing a ton or you don't see a result right away when you look in the mirror on the scale, but that compounds every single day that you're doing it. And you're building a beautiful life for yourself.
Yep. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful life.
It's a beautiful life.
You know who says that?
Yes, he says Buffini.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a real estate
coach.
Yeah. And that's he has a podcast, I think, called it's a good life or it's a beautiful life.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I love that. So anyways, it's a good time to look back on your finances, review these things, and setting some budgets for the new year. You said that you might create a budget.
Oh yeah, this year might be the year that I create a budget. For the past number of years, at least past 4 years, I've had heavy spend years every year. And although those are all investing, right? I'm investing into my properties. This year I invested into my personal home. Regardless, every year the amount that I'm spending on contractors and renovations has been astronomical.
Yeah.
This year, I hope to scale out of that. I'm on the fence right now. So with one of my rental properties, I'm getting some hard dollar quotes on flipping 2 of the units. And then I can decide if I think it's worth it to do that or just to sell it as is.
Right, you got to run the numbers.
Yeah, I've made the decision that this is not a property that I want to hold long term.
Which I like that. It's good to kind of reflect on your portfolio and see what works well for you.
Yeah, I just like have bad juju around this property. So I want to get rid of it. So yeah, now I'm in the stage of like, do I sell it as is in the condition that it's in, or do I renovate 2 of the units and then sell it? So TBD, they're going to give me back some quotes this week.
So it might be another year of heavy contractor expenses.
It could be another heavy year.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But regardless, I want to make sure that I have some budgets in check. So if I am deciding to spend 50 or 60 to 100,000 on renovations, I've budgeted for that every single month.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it's not just like, oh, now I'm just transferring out of my account.
Yes. It's more of a strategic plan.
Yeah.
That's good.
And my other aspects of life, I'm not thinking like, oh, can I go on this trip because I have that money in my trip budget, not just because I have that money, period.
Right. Yeah. Creating little different pockets of money, like a vacation fund and a renovation fund. So then those goals are met.
Yeah, and then it doesn't get us out of control
as
quickly because you're held accountable for each sector of money that you're spending.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'm going to try and get Maddie to do it with me.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she doesn't know this yet. She doesn't listen to our podcast also.
True.
So we'll see.
Yes.
Stay tuned on that. Maybe we'll do a mid-year check-in on my budget.
Okay, I'm in for that.
Hold me accountable.
Yes, and then we'll follow up and see how I'm doing with my cash.
Yeah.
Because that's something that they'll maybe hold me more accountable to in trying to do the cash for the 6 months.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.